God is good to me, ever present help in time of need. He is my shelter in times of storm, in seasons of winter. He keeps me warm, and I believe. He's there for me. Yes, I believe. He's there for me.
Good morning. Welcome to the Southern Virginia homestead. This morning, I'm sitting out here. The area in back of me is what is going to be my permaculture food forest. And so I started watching a couple people on YouTube that do these food forests, and I really like the concept of it. I watch Plant Abundance, and I watched the gardening channel with James Piccioni. Both of them have pretty extensive food forests. And I know James Piccioni, he's got two sections. One of them's been going for like 7 years. So, you know, at its base is the no-till, like a back to Eden concept, heavy mulch with wood chips. And then there's stuff growing at every layer, so there's stuff that grows on the ground, you know, like strawberries and different herbs and other vegetables, and then some annuals mixed in. So it's going to be a work in progress, right? It's going to take some time. I've got to fence the whole area in. I've got some berry bushes. I'm going to show you, take a little walk around in a minute. But I want to extend the berry bushes, and I want to deep mulch the whole thing. So I'm doing it in sections because I'm waiting for, I got to get some more cardboard to lay down, and then I'll put some more chips down. And so it's, you know, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but I did plant, I got a couple elderberry bushes that I put in there. I got 2 Santa Rosa plum trees that I planted in there. And just yesterday I planted a couple fig trees. And so, you know, it's important to get those rooted and get those started because it takes a while to get fruit. And so even though in the beginning, you know, I was going to fence it out and do all the mulch and get the whole place ready first, and I thought like it could be another year before that's complete. So I went ahead and put the fruit trees in there, started them growing, and so I think it's important to get them established. But you know, the idea of the permaculture food forest is really about self-sustainability, because as the years go on, stuff expands. Like, you know, let's look at asparagus. I planted, I think, 10 single little asparagus plants, and as they go through their cycles over the years, you know, they'll drop seed, and then, you know, maybe next year 10 will be 15, or, you know, whatever, and it should keep expanding and giving us asparagus, hopefully, for years to come. I'm going to find a spot to put some onions. I'm going to do some other things, herbs. I've got, you know, a general idea like in my head laid out. But as we go forward and get older and all this gardening and maintenance becomes harder, then the food forest will continue to yield and it'll be self-sustainable. And of course, you know, there's going to be pruning, there's going to be work, wood chips are going to have to be added. But once, you know, most of the work is front-loaded, it's done in the beginning, setting it up. And then it should be pretty manageable after that. That's what I'm hoping, and that seems to be the case if it's done correctly. So, yeah. You know, another thing I wanted to look at, and so if we think about that concept of the food forest and that self-sustainability, lends itself to that prepper mindset as well, right? Because, you know, in prepping, we store food, we put food back. And so that's very important. And like, so, okay, so let's just look at the 2 fig trees. That was my last purchase. I purchased them from a nursery. I did some research, a couple brands that should, a couple varieties that should do good in this area. And I purchased them from a nursery online. It had pretty good reviews, pretty good reputation. And so they just came and I put them in the other day. I think I paid 30 something a piece for them. But, you know, I looked around here and I couldn't really source them locally. Those kind, like, you can get the brown turkey figs, which are pretty generic, and they sell them like at Lowe's, but they didn't look that great. You know, they sit around. I don't know how good they take care of their stuff. And I looked at a friend of mine has a little backyard nursery. He's got some real small ones, and they're not ready to go yet. I might do a couple more of those in the spring. But anyway, I ended up going online and getting these. So I paid, you know, $80 or whatever. I think it was free shipping. And so I look at that and I equate that to food storage, right? So for $80, I probably could have done 3 buckets roughly of rice and beans. By the time you buy the rice and beans, the Mylar bags, the oxygen absorbers, the buckets, the lids, you know, it's every product of food is priced differently, but generally I'm thinking I could have done about 3 buckets of foods for the same amount of money as I spent for those 2 fig trees. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that, because that's important to have those staples and to have that base built up, right? From a prepping standpoint, we need that. We need that food, that go-to food. Because it could be a few years before these figs ripen, before these figs mature enough to give fruit. And so, from a long-term prepper standpoint, once they get through that beginning period and they start producing fruit, and I'll have to, you know, keep and prune and stuff like that, they should continue to bear fruit for many years without really much work. And so, from a prepper aspect, isn't that just as good as food storage, if not better in some ways, right? But my food forest that I'm building out, and as I said, I'm going to give you a tour in a minute. I got a lot of fruits planned to go in there. So I got my berries, which I'm propagating all the time and trying to grow out. And, you know, I'm just going to show you what I got. And so when we look at this concept of the food forest, I think it's very beneficial, both from a prepping mindset and just from a homestead, aging in place, homesteader, self-sustainability mindset. And so I'm just going to continue to grow it out year after year, continue to build on it, continue to add new things, and hopefully it'll produce good, quality, healthy, organic food for years to come. So over here are my berries. I've got a short row there. It's not the best angle. Then I've got this long row. And we've picked quite a bit of berries off here this year. And I want to actually probably double the length of berries that I have here over the next few years. And so where I'm standing is going to be a good part of that. From where I'm standing down to that first row where the dog's standing, just beyond the dog, I'm going to continue this row out. Where I'm standing behind the camera is actually going to be the back corner of the food forest. So all this is going to be part of the food forest. I'm going to walk over to the other corner and show you. And then just beyond this post, kind of just over there to the left of the shed, is going to be the other border. So right here is the other corner. I'm going to kind of shoot down these 2 bushes, straight line down, roughly over to where that peach tree on the left is. I'll bring you down and mark that corner too, but all this in here is going to be inside the food forest. And again, you know, here's that back row of berries. That'll be my back line. So as you can see, I've got plenty of room to extend these berries, because from where these are connecting over to the row is, you know, I've got a lot of room, I guess is what I'm saying, to extend these berries. Generally, my goal is, there's a lot of open spaces here, and I'll show it to you from a different angle, but I want to have 2 complete rows of berries. So there it kind of shows the holes in the rows. So right here, this area between this T-post and this T-post here, that one right there, was open grass a couple days ago. And I tip planted these two where the T-posts are, they're supporting them. I don't know if you can see the berry vine, but I came one off the left side and one on the other side on the right side, and I dug a little hole in the ground. I put tips of the long shoots in there, and I supported them with these T-posts, covered it with cardboard and mulch. And so 3 weeks to a month, and I'll probably wait well past that, but they should establish their roots. And we talked about tip planting as propagation before, but that's, you know, once they establish the root, once this root's established here, I'll cut this here, and then I'll have another bush there. Same thing on the other side. And so that's a method of filling in these gaps and expanding these bushes, and I can do that in several other areas. And then off away where there aren't length enough to tip plant, what I do is, I don't know if you can see it here, but I'm in the sun, so I'm trying to see this here, but I've got a planter there. I don't know if it's visible, I can't see it on the screen. But I tip plant into the buckets, and then I can transplant them anywhere. And so this is my idea for completing these rows. I'm going to show you some of the gaps that I want to fill in. So this here is against the front line, and I had purchased earlier in the season 2 grape plants from Tractor Supply, and they were pretty hurting looking, and they were discounted down. I think I got 2 of them for $6, and there was a 50-50 shot, and so I bought them. I put them in. One completely died. I had thought that both completely died, but I noticed this one here actually has some life left on it. So I believe it's a muscadine or a concord. There was one of each, and I don't know which one died and which one survived. But I'm thinking that one looks like it's going to survive. So I'm going to have grapes. Again, this will be this tree behind here. Zoom out. Is pretty much the back corner. Where the grape is will be the front line, but lined up with the corner. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and kind of show you, standing in this corner of the food forest, the perspective of it. And so I got those 2 tarps over the fig trees because it was almost 100 degrees yesterday, and the sun was beating down on them, and they looked like, you know, they were in shock from transplanting, and I just wanted to keep the sun off them for a day or so. Yeah, I got to keep them well watered. But those are my 2 fig trees. Here's my watermelon and cantaloupe patch, and a little field rat got in and destroyed every single one of them. And I'm not sure if it's showing that or not. I think it is. But I'm just going to leave them there, let the seeds go, and hopefully they'll self-seed themselves for next year. If not, I'll buy more plants. Like this is also going to be inside the food forest, and actually right beyond there where the weeds hit the grass is going to be the front line of the forest. Now next year these peppers won't be here. This is one of the Santa Rosa plums, and the other one is right there. And so again, you know, I wasn't really sure I was ready to plant these, but I wanted to get them in the ground and get the roots established and get them going so they can mature. I didn't want to waste another season. And so they are doing very well. They're healthy, and they were planted probably almost a month ago, 3 weeks ago. So they're doing well. And there's one of my elderberry plants. And there's the other one. And over here is where I planted my asparagus. And they're also doing well. They've been in there also 3 weeks to a month. I think I showed you the video when I put the elderberries and the asparagus in. And yeah, this is going to be, I'm going to try to swing it around. I know this thing is noisy and it doesn't move very smoothly, this tripod. I'm going to try to swing it around and show you. So basically we're on the line right here, and there's the front where right beyond the tree where the chips meet the grass. And we're going to go all the way down. I know that tarp covering that fig tree is in the way, but beyond there and where those berry bushes are going to be filled in, again right to the left of that last berry bush is the back line, and that's them straight back. So as I get cardboard, I'm going to cover over all this grass and I'm going to heavy mulch it with chips. I got a big delivery from the tree company, so I'm not sure if I have enough to do the whole thing, but I certainly don't have enough cardboard, so I'm going to just keep doing it as I get it. Thanks for watching. God bless you.